Thank you very much, YB Ginger. Firstly, it's good to be back. Minggu lepas saya sempat datang tapi sekejap saja. Saya datang lagi sekali tetapi kali ini akan berkampung di Sabah sampai tarikh pengundian pada Sabtu yang akan datang. Dan saya betul-betul berharap bila hari mengundi tiba, orang Sabah akan menghantar satu mesej yang begitu jelas bahawa orang Sabah orang yang bermaruah, berintegriti, menolak politik wang, menerima politik yang berprinsip, tolak politik katak lompat-melompat dan akan terus mengangkat dan memartabatkan kepentingan negeri Sabah. This is to me one of the most historic elections. Saya kata kerana ini merupakan salah satu pilihan raya yang paling bersejarah kerana orang Sabah diberikan pilihan di antara Datuk Seri Shafie Apdal sebagai calon ketua menteri yang mengangkat dasar perpaduan yang ingin membina lebih banyak jambatan di antara bangsa, agama, suku kaum, ataupun politik yang memecah belahkan rakyatnya, politik agama ekstremisme atau politik bangsa ekstremisme sampai ke satu tahap di mana kita tidak boleh bersama. And at the same time, I like to remind, why are we where we are at today? Kenapa sampai terpaksa adanya pilihan raya negeri? Kita ada pilihan raya negeri kerana 13 adun yang dipilih oleh orang Sabah pada pilihan raya lepas melompat. They forgot the people's mandate. They betrayed the people's trust. They jumped and caused the collapse of a legitimate state government. Dan pada masa tersebut, kerana politik lompat-melompat ini, sistem demokrasi negara semakin lemah. And in reality, we must send a clear signal that those who betray the people's mandate will be punished and they will never be accepted again. Sebab itu saya berharap pada pilihan raya negeri ini, apabila orang Sabah menghantar mesej yang jelas, signal yang jelas bahawa politik katak ini akan ditolak dan akan dihukum, yang bermakna selepas ini kalau ada mana-mana pihak yang ingin menggadaikan maruah prinsipnya untuk wang, kuasa dan jawatan, mereka akan dihukum sejelas mungkin. The power is in your hands. And this is truly the time for us to show, not just in Sabah, but to all Malaysians, regardless of race and religion, that we are better and more united together. That while we may not share the same religion, that we may not have the same skin color, but in the end, we have more commonalities than what divide and differentiates us. That we are all Malaysians. That we care for the same issues. We want for quality jobs. We want for quality education. We want for there to be affordable housing. We reject money politics. We want leaders with integrity and leaders who seek to unite us and not divide us. Inilah politik yang kita mahu di Malaysia. Salah satu perkara yang saya tekankan juga dan kongsikan juga, ni saya rasa rakan-rakan media pun ada di hadapan saya. Semalam saya sampai di Sabah. Saya tak sempat nak berkempen, tapi saya sempat tengok Facebook Live ucapan Datuk Seri Azmin Ali, Menteri Kanan Kerajaan Perikatan Nasional. And one of the speech which truly pissed me off. Saya nak, kalau boleh, rakan-rakan tengok ucapan dia semalam. What did he say? Dalam ucapannya dia kata bahawa Datuk Seri Shafie Apdal adalah munafik. For Muslims, you know what munafik is. Munafik ni seperti hipokrit. It's a very bad and negative term. Bukan sahaja munafik, dia kata dekat penduduk kampung setempat tersebut, kalau nampak Datuk Seri Shafie Apdal, kejar dia keluar kampung. I mean, he's seriously saying, someone from Semenanjung is saying that people of Sabah, when you see Datuk Seri Shafie Apdal, you should chase him out of your village. Kenapa? Dia katakan perkara itu kerana dia kata munafik kerana bila Datuk Seri Shafie Apdal Ketua Menteri dan Datuk Seri Azmin Adi adalah Menteri Ekonomi, Datuk Seri Shafie Apdal berani untuk menulis surat untuk meminta dan memohon peruntukan pembangunan bagi rakyat Sabah. Dan dia kata kerana Datuk Seri Shafie Apdal meminta dan memohon peruntukan pembangunan, dia merupakan seorang pemimpin yang munafik. What ridiculousness is this? That is a disgusting form of politics. That just because a legitimate elected state leader, a chief minister, decides to ask for federal allocations, suddenly you choose to humiliate him. Is this the kind of politics which we want? When I saw that, I was enraged because he is treating government allocations, federal allocations, like his own personal wealth. Obviously, if you are chief minister, you will write to federal government to ask for federal allocations. Why? Because federal government takes from the people of Sabah. Federal government takes money from the people of Sabah. Now suddenly when state government of Sabah request for financial aid and assistance, suddenly he's a munafik. Politik apa ni? Adakah kita yang mengharapkan orang Sabah terpaksa mengemis kepada kerajaan persekutuan untuk dapatkan balik wang hak milik orang Sabah? I'm from Johor, but even though I'm from Johor, I feel insulted when I see this kind of politics. Padahal saya ingat dahulu bila saya merupakan salah seorang menteri kerajaan persekutuan, walaupun kerajaan negeri Kelantan dan Terengganu tidak, kerajaan negeri tersebut daripada segi parti politik tidak sehaluan dengan kerajaan persekutuan, but in no way should and will we discriminate a state government who may come from a different political identity. Sebab itu, wang ihsan kerajaan yang kita berikan dekat kerajaan negeri Terengganu, more than R1 billion, 400 million to Kelantan and even to Terengganu state government, walaupun mereka tidak merupakan kerajaan yang sama. Why is this? Kerana dalam politik kita perlu matang. We must be mature. We should not build walls to divide ourselves. We should not force a democratically elected state government to beg for allocations which belong to the people of that state. Sebab itu, saya berharap orang Sabah akan menolak politik ugut-mengugut seperti ini. This is your wealth. This is your money. But yet, a federal minister can come here and say that a chief minister elected by all of you is a munafik and a hypocrite. Ridicule him just because he's asking for development funds for the people of Sabah. This kind of politics is disgusting. We must reject it, and I hope that the people of Sabah will send a clear signal during election day on Saturday. Bagi orang muda, inilah masa kamu untuk membetulkan persepsi politik di Malaysia, bahawa sebagai pengundi, kamulah yang berkuasa, bukan pemimpin politik. And I say this including to myself. Sebab itu saya sentiasa akur dan perlu bermuhasabah. As an elected representative, I do not hold power. Power lies in the people. If the people think that I'm not doing my job, then they have the right to change me when election comes. Tetapi kalau seseorang pemimpin itu selepas diberikan mandat, selepas itu kerana jawatan, kerana duit yang datang berjuta-juta ringgit, sanggup menggadaikan maruah dan prinsip kerana kepentingan peribadi, we must send a clear signal to reject him. It's not enough for only you to come out during election. Everyone has a role to play in shaping the future of Malaysia. Kalau ada rakan-rakan dan keluarga di Semenanjung yang akan mengundi di Sabah, pastikan mereka pulang mengundi. Kalau ada atuk, nenek, ibu bapa yang bersama, pastikan mereka keluar mengundi sekali. Be that agent of change. Be the change which you want to see. Change is in your hands, and I hope that you will be together on Saturday next week to send a clear signal that we don't want the politics of race and religion to divide us, that we don't want the politics of threats to divide us and to weaken us, but we want a politics of integrity, principled politics the politics of unity in which we all come together to show that Malaysia's strength is in her diversity, and unity and diversity should never be treated as a liability in Malaysia. Sebab itu, saya pandang di sini pula ya, kepada rakan-rakan media sosial yang sedang tengok di sini, saya berharap kita bersama untuk menghantar satu mesej yang jelas pada hari Sabtu ini. Kuasa terletak di tangan kamu semua, dan saya berharap bahawa kamu akan membuat pilihan yang baik dan tepat untuk mengangkat dan memartabatkan politik prinsip, politik bermaruah, politik berintegriti, politik perpaduan, dan menolak politik katak lompat-melompat, tolak politik wang, politik ugut-mengugut, kerana saya yakin orang Sabah adalah orang yang berdaulat, bermaruah, berintegriti, dan akan menghantar satu signal yang jelas demi masa depan negeri Sabah dan Malaysia secara keseluruhan. Terima kasih. That's it from me. So let's pass the mic to someone else. To my friends who decided to came down. I feel really bad about this sesi Facebook Live, but you guys are here as well. Thank you very much for making the time down. I hope together we will be able to chart a more united path forward for Sabah and for all Malaysians. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to engage you all of you. The food is amazing. I love satay. The reason being why I love satay, and I'm in Sabah, but for those of you yang sekarang cuti-cuti Malaysia kan, cuti-cuti Malaysia usually everyone from Semenanjung come to Sabah. But now this is my 1 minute pitch moment for people to come to Muar, my constituency in Johor, because every morning in Muar we have satay pagi. So people usually eat satay and heavy food, for lunch or maybe dinner. But in my kawasan in Muar, we have like satay in the morning. But while we have satay in the morning, we are very fit community lah. Then we exercise a lot as well. So if you want to try great satay, I can also come down to Muar. I have to take the opportunity to promote Muar, to do my job. Oh yeah, lontong as well. Not bad, not bad. Oh no, see, I told you, wherever I go, there will always be Muarians one. Okay, amazing. Make
So
sure
you are the icon of Muar.
So make sure you bring all your Sabah friends come down to Muar. Yeah, power. Make sure you bring all your Sabah friends come down to Muar. So yeah, the food here is amazing. I just want to add like what Ginger pointed out. The interesting part, right, is that I think in Warisan and PH, there are so many young leaders.
Yeah.
So it's not just like one or two of young representatives. Ada banyak ahli parlimen muda, ada banyak ahli Dewan Undangan Negeri muda yang diberikan peluang. Dan perkara ini harus kita angkat kerana kalau lihat di parlimen ni bukan sahaja tempat yang harus didominasi oleh golongan yang sudah berumur. It should also be a place where we contest ideas and young people also have a role to play. Saya agak kecewa bila baru-baru ni dimaklumkan bahawa I think, what was the number? I think about like 60% of parliamentarians are above 60 years old. And the number of parliamentarians below 40 is unbelievably low. Nak kata anak muda ni tak ada yang baik, berwawasan tu tak betul. There are many of those young leaders who are capable, cutting across political beliefs, race, religion, but there are those who are genuinely good, and it's time for us to give them an opportunity. So kepada rakan-rakan di Sabah, I think there are so many young candidates being put forward. This is an opportunity for us to give them a chance. And also all three young candidates here are giving our endorsement to also the young candidate at heart. I think saya kata kerana,
You know what? Sorry, I interrupt a bit. He plays Dota.
Plays Dota, can play with me, but I think I'm going to win against you lah.
We should play one session, 2 versus 2.
Can, no problem. But I just say, see, young at heart. Remember, the word muda, it's not just about age. It's also about politics and principles. So tak guna kalau kita orang muda tapi menggadaikan maruah kerana politik wang dan kuasa. That's all politics. But for someone like him, if you listen to his speech just now, and I know during that crucial moment, there will be a lot of people who go to see and approach him, trying to buy his vote to cause the collapse of the state government and to install Musa Aman as the chief minister. But he didn't budge. Duit dia tak makan, jawatan dan pangkat pun dia tak makan. And it's this kind There's this kind of politician which we need to support, right? Because in the end, as elected representatives, there should be a higher goal than just money and positions. In the end, we are merely servants of the people and we are merely vehicles to the people's aspirations. Dan apabila kita sebagai kenderaan tidak melakukan kerja dengan baik, kenderaan itu dah lama akan ditukar. So we're here to serve you and you only, not for money, power and positions. So yeah, I hope that we will send a clear message during this election. Back to you, my vision.
Yeah.
So anyone want to ask any questions or any questions on YB Syed Saddiq's speech or any questions, we can take questions, and meanwhile we can enjoy a little bit on the satay and also drink the coconut water. Yeah. So any questions?
You can ask our media friends.
Yeah, media friends.
So YB, you are saying that there are already 10,000 persons that have registered to your new party, right? So how many of them are from Sabah?
Yeah, you repeat the question.
Okay, the question asked, I don't think this has a role in like Sabah elections, but since our media friend asked, I'm obligated to answer. Bear with me. So the question asked is, in 48 hours, there were more than 10,000 people who registered for the new party which I established for MUDA, Malaysian United Democratic Alliance. So how many from Sabah? I haven't looked at the breakdown of how many at Sabah, but I just want to share an interesting fact which just happened recently. So in 48 hours, there were more than 10,000 who registered. But more interestingly, this morning, there were news reports where Nazri Aziz, the Member of Parliament of Padang Rengas, said that, I'm being very naive, the young youth will fail, and the young people forming a political party will most likely fail. And I shared that with my friends and the public at large. And interestingly, because of Nazri Aziz's statement, in less than 12 hours, just before I came here, more than 6,000 people, new members have come in to register. Which is very interesting to show that the more all these ridicule young people, the more they take this as a challenge to prove that young people can do the impossible. So I take up the challenge by YB Nazri Aziz. I remember even before I was elected as a Member of Parliament, I think in 2017, when I spoke up against corruption and abuse of power, he called me budak mentah bodoh. He can say whatever he wants and say that it's impossible for me to win a parliamentary seat, but because of God's grace, Alhamdulillah, won my seat in Muar. Now I'll prove him wrong again. That young people can do the impossible, and the more you challenge us, the more you threaten us, the more we'll fight back to prove that the voices of young people can never ever be suppressed. So thank you very much, Dr. Sri Nazri Aziz, for helping bring another 6,000 members for my party. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Wow, that's amazing. Right. Any questions on our speech? Yeah.
Someone's asking, how do you guys actually answer to misleading and slandering comments from the opponent?
Persoalan yang diajukan oleh rakan di media sosial, bagaimana kita ingin membantras politik fitnah, memfitnah, tipu menipu, or fake news. Different people have different ways, but we must this lies immediately. We must confront it with facts and figures, so that in the end, these lies will not be able to spread far. I show one clear example. Just recently, I read news that Bung Mohtar, the calon ketua menteri oleh pihak sebelah sana, actually God knows which one the ketua menteri. Ada Bung Mohtar, ada Haji Ji, ada Jeffrey Ketingan, ada God knows there are so many, so they don't have a united candidate. But either way say that, slogan yang Datuk Seri Shafie gunakan, in God we trust, unite we must, is from the Philippines. I don't know what this guy is smoking, man. I mean, what ridiculousness! Even when I was a kid, I heard this "In God We Trust" slogan for a while. from my friends. And this is supposed to be a slogan to unite all of us. Why suddenly when I add on the Filipina element there? Not just that. Pagi ni, I think we had again people challenging Datuk Seri Syafi's ancestry. Kata dia bukan orang Malaysia atau the ancestors not from Malaysia. I mean, do you really want to go down this gutter politics? And the odd part is, the same people who accused Datuk Seri Syafi was in the same party before, which is UMNO. Anifah Ahmad, Musa Ahmad. Heck, Datuk Seri Syafi was the vice president of UMNO before, the same party which they were in. And now suddenly, when he has led Sabah state and governed successfully with principles and integrity to unite Sabahans of different race and religion, suddenly now saying that he's actually not a true Sabahan. I mean, how demeaning is that? When you have a chief minister who seeks to unite Sabahans, the opponent throws slander by saying that he's actually not a Sabahan. I mean, seriously. So I think if we don't reject this kind of politics, I don't know what type of politics we aspire in Malaysia. So social media users, orang-orang macam ni kita kena tolak dan kita raikan budaya politik yang matang, politik yang baik, yang berprinsip, bermaruah, dan kita tidak akan terima mereka ini yang sanggup mempertikaikan kewarganegaraan seseorang itu. The question asked is, what are the challenges which I face when I campaign in Sabah in comparison to campaigns in Semenanjung? But before I talk about the challenges, I just want to share what are the positive things about campaigning in Sabah which I appreciate a lot and which I believe it's timely for us to export Sabah politics to Semenanjung, not the other way around, not Semenanjung politics to Sabah. Which is when I think I've travelled to like so many parliamentary seats in Sabah. Even when I was in the Ministry of Youth and Sports, I'll come down to Sabah almost every single month. And that I remember even though I'm from Johor, a lot of my Johor counterparts will say, hey, why you go down to Sabah all the time? Come down, you're spending more time in Sabah than Johor. The reason why is because the unique part about Sabah is that despite the fact that you may come from a different race, religion, suku kaum, but you still have that common identity. You're very proud to be Sabahan, and that identity unites all of you. And you don't fall into the trappings of the politics of extremism, race and religion, and politicians who seek to divide people based on race and religion. And I appreciate that a lot. That's why when I touched down to Sabah recently, when I came out from the airport, drive down and you'll see this big advertisement, right, put up. There's a face of Datuk Seri Syafi Abdal, the Chief Minister, with a quote that he's here to build a nation, not just a race and religion, not particular race and not particular religion. And that's a very powerful message. And that is truly the kind of politics which you want to bring, not just in Sabah but across Malaysia. So I appreciate that a lot, and that's why I enjoy coming down to Sabah. And despite being a Johorian and someone from Semenanjung, but I believe this is something which all Malaysians can pick up, and political identity which we all should associate ourselves with. Some of the difficulties, I think now in particular, is to really get young people to turn up to vote. Because young people are so anchored by the fact that when they turn up in throws in last election, diorang turun sanggup yang luar negara balik hanya untuk mengundi, beli flight tiket mahal-mahal hanya untuk mengundi. Tetapi selepas mengundi, ahli politik sanggup menjual maruah mereka hanya kerana dapat duit ataupun tawaran jutaan ringgit ataupun tawaran pangkat menteri di negeri Sabah, seperti tadi apa kita dengar. Dan apabila mereka menjual maruah diri sebagai rakyat dan pengundi, manalah tak marah. So there is a fear that the same thing will happen after the state election. But I think the best way for us to deal with this problem is to confront it. Jangan lari. Kalau betul kita marah, Kita marah dan kita rasa penat lelah, penat-penat kita mengundi, tiba-tiba ahli Dewan Undangan Negeri Adun tu boleh lompat membelakangkan mandat rakyat. We should come out to vote to punish him or her, to send a clear signal that we will punish you if you do this again. Sebab tu pada pilihan raya ni tak cukup kalau Warisan Plus menang dengan majoriti kecil. They must win with a big and decisive majority, so that politik katak melompat ini tidak akan berlaku dan berulang. Dan signal jelas telah pun disampaikan oleh orang Sabah. Your hands, what you want for Sabah will be reflective of Malaysian politics overall. I think this is a very interesting and exciting election because I believe this is an election in which Sabah can lead. Sabah memimpin politik di Malaysia, dan saya berharap bahawa orang Sabah menghantar signal yang jelas pada pilihan raya ini. Terima kasih. Thank you very much everyone.